seepage analysis for water retaining structures. And you can see in the picture, it's a Tehri Dam, the most famous dam in India and in the world. You can see, I'm going to cover the content in my presentation on seepage issues that are related to water retaining structures, estimation of seepage discharge, uplift and exit gradient using FlowNet, soil erosion and piping problem, piping condition, and provision of granular filter media, and also the design of granular filter media and the analytical solutions that are proposed for calculating the factor of safety of granular filter media. So you know that all these water retaining structures, as I mentioned, we require large body of water or reservoirs to serve the different purpose, like for irrigation purpose, water supply, power generation, navigation, flood control. So on the right hand side, you can see this is the Bhakra Dam, which is a multi-purpose dam, and many of you must have visited this dam, and it is actually serving our purpose for a very long time. And you can see when it comes to type of water retaining structures, you know that there are concrete gravity dams, earth or rock filled dams, levees or dike. But you can see from this pie chart, majority of dam across the globe is a earth fill and rock fill dams. So 72% actually constitute earth fill and rock fill dams. And they have their own issues. Like when you talk about earth fill or rock fill dam, then the role of geotechnical engineers come into picture, and we should understand what are the issues that are related with the water retaining structures. So I will be talking about the geotechnical perspective. So when it comes to stability issue, you know that there are three critical conditions. One is overturning, sliding, and bearing capacity failure. And you need to analyze the stability of structure at three situations. One is immediately after the construction, like at the end of the construction. You know that the dam is most critical situation immediately at the end of the construction. Then when you first fill the dam, then after that, a steady seepage condition is achieved, and then this is the second condition, critical condition, when the stability of the dam is compromised, and you need to ensure that the dam is safe at this position. And then there is a sudden drawdown condition when you release the water immediately through spillways or through other means. Then definitely there is a sudden drawdown condition, and then you need to ensure the factor of safety is enough for these three conditions. So you know that you check the stability of upstream and downstream slope, and the associated factor of safety should be more than 1.5 under steady condition. So let us see what are the issues that are related with the water retaining structures when it comes to seepage. So when it comes to seepage, you know that the issue can be of excessive seepage, or issue can be of uplift pressure, or issue can be related to erosion and piping. So let us see one by one. You know that the dam is constructed to store water. But if there is excessive seepage through the body of the structure or through the foundation of the structure, then you know that whatever is stored is released through the body and through the foundation. And then when you actually need water for utilization, nothing is available to you. In the same way, you can see this is the top one is the earth dam, and below is concrete dam. In the concrete dam, very little seepage is there through the body, but then you see a lot of seepage that may take place through the foundation soil. So again, the issue should be resolved. Otherwise, the water which is stored during monsoon season which is to be used in subsequent month till next monsoon is received. So you know that in India, we receive monsoon in the month of June, July, and you store all the water. And then after that, you have to use this stored water for the next 1 year till you receive the next monsoon. So you need to ensure that this seepage loss is minimum. And here the role of geotechnical engineer come into picture. You adopt different methods and technology, like you provide cutoff walls, or you do grouting in the foundation soil. so that you can ensure that the seepage is minimum. And to ensure the minimum seepage through the body of the dam, you provide core at the center, or you give other provisions like you can provide impermeable layer on the upstream side also, so that you can ensure that there is no seepage through the body. We will discuss in detail in the subsequent slide that how these situations are managed. So excessive seepage and control, as I mentioned, seepage discharge through foundation and body of the dam is actually analyzed using the FlowNet. Those who are civil engineers or those who are in the field of geotechnical engineering, they must have studied the concept of FlowNet and how it is drawn, and then how you do the calculation for the seepage discharge. If time permits, I will also explain a bit on this. And then you need to see the volume loss through seepage is uh, less than the reservoir capacity, or you have to actually minimize here. And if the loss is excessive, the seepage control measures are taken, like you do grouting, you provide impervious cores, you provide upstream or downstream cutoff walls, and also you provide granular filter layer. And we will discuss at the end that how these granular filter layers are designed and the associated issues and those issues, how it has been resolved. Now, this is the typical cross-section of another dam, which has been taken from Indian Standard Code of Practice 1999, drainage system for Earthen and Rockfill Dam. You can see here, you can see you provide riprap on the upstream side. You also provide the core at the center, and you also provide cutoff to ensure that the seepage which is coming through the foundation of the dam is actually retained here. And after that, you provide grout curtain below this cutoff, so that the idea is like the water which is coming from the upstream side should be retained on the upstream side. So the coefficient of permeability, which is the controlling factor in controlling the seepage discharge, should be lowest here. So you know that the material which is different for shell is different for core. Here the material is a clay material that has a coefficient of permeability value less than 10 to the power minus 8 meter per second or something like that. So it is almost impermeable layer. So like that, you try to control the seepage in the dam. When it comes to uplift pressure, you can see here, I just try to show this through this picture. You can see this is a concrete dam, and some amount of seepage is taking place through the body of the structure, but majority of the seepage is taking place through the foundation. And when the water flows through the foundation, it actually exerts uplift pressure in the upward direction, because you know that huge amount of head is acting on the upstream side. And you can see from the second diagram, the force that are acting on the structure. This is a concrete dam, and you can see the heel and the toe of the dam. And if there is a water on the upstream side and downstream sides, and then it is going to exert hydrostatic pressure from the upstream and from the downstream side. And then due to flow of water through the foundation, there is an uplift force exerted in the upward direction. So this uplift force is actually counterbalanced by the weight of the dam. So you need to ensure sufficient factor of safety against uplift, and we will discuss, if time permits, we can discuss how this uplift force is calculated and how much factor of safety is suggested. So you can see here, the factor of safety against uplift is taken as the weight of the dam divided by the uplift force. So again, to estimate the uplift force, we use the concept of FlowNet. So you will understand that how this FlowNet becomes important and how it is going to help in ensuring the safety of the structure, whether it is seepage, when you try to control the excessive seepage, or you want to give enough factor of safety against uplift force. And the third condition is erosion and piping. You know that when the flow takes place through the foundation of a structure, foundation of this water retaining structure. So in the direction of flow, it actually exerts the seepage force. And you can see here on the downstream side, this flow is actually taking place in almost upward direction. And you know that from the fundamentals of geotechnical engineering, when the flow is in the upward direction, the effective stress of the soil actually reduces. And this is the critical condition for achieving a soil boiling condition. So this condition is critical here at the downstream end. So it is actually elaborated here. In this, you can see here in the direction of flow, when the seepage force is exerted, and if this soil at the downstream end is not protected, then what will happen under the influence of seepage force? The soil particle will have the tendency to move. And if the force is excessive, then it will definitely move in this direction and it will create a kind of cavity here. And when this starts, it is not going to stop. So the soil particles starts moving and then finally it moves, this cavity which is formed here moves in the backward direction and it forms a kind of channel or pipe, and it progresses in the upward direction like this on the upstream towards the upstream side, and then finally a complete channel is formed at the foundation, and then this phenomena is actually called phenomena of piping. You can see here in this picture the piping is happening. You can see here the pipe kind of structure is formed, and all water that is there on the upstream side is going towards downstream side through these channels, which is formed in the body of the dam. And actually, it is dangerous for a structure. You can see there is a famous dam failure in the name of Teton Dam, which failed in year 1976, and it was only because of the erosion and piping. You can get the video on YouTube. You just type this Teton Dam failure, and you will find a nice video that depicts that how the failure initiated and finally it turned up into the complete collapse of the structure. So this has already been mentioned. Under the influence of seepage flow, the seepage force is exerted on the soil particles in the direction of flow, and if this force is excessive, soil particles will have the tendency to move if it is not protected. The process of erosion starts at the downstream exit end and moves in the backward direction. And finally, a channel is formed leading to the development of concentrated flow, which is called piping. Now, for this also, we need to ensure enough factor of safety against soil boiling condition using the concept of flow net. And here we ensure this by getting the value of critical hydraulic gradient, and which is divided by the exit gradient, and we will understand that how this calculation is done for critical hydraulic gradient and exit gradient. And you know that you can see here a very high value of factor of safety is taken against piping condition. You can see this is 5 to 6 because we want to be over safe here, because once this erosion and piping starts, it can't be stopped. So let us see what we do for erosion control. You know that you provide granular filter layer as chimney drain or as a horizontal blanket, and at critical location, you can see that these granular filter media are provided so that it can protect the soil to migrate or to erode. I'll explain that how it is done. In the same way, you can see here for Choned Dam, the granular filter media layer is provided here on the downstream side at the core, and also horizontal filter layer is provided on the downstream side. So, and also you can provide toe drains at the toe of the dam. So they serve different purpose, and I'll explain that for what purpose these granular filter media are designed and how they take care of this erosion problem. So we understood that FlowNet is a very important approach for analyzing the seepage problem or uplift force problem or erosion problem, where you try to get factor of safety against excessive seepage or erosion or piping. So drawing of FlowNet is again a critical condition. You know that there is a graphical way of getting the solution of the Laplace equation, which is used to draw this FlowNet. And in my days, we used to draw these FlowNet manually using the graph paper, but now you know that you have SIF software or other software that actually help you in getting this FlowNet. So you should be actually aware of that what exactly and how it is used for our calculation purpose. So I can just take one example of using the flow net for calculation purpose. So let me see for this water retaining structure, the flow net is drawn. You can see these are the flow lines. These are the flow lines. Uh, these are the flow lines, and normal to these flow lines, these are the equipotential lines. So once you draw this flow net, you know that there is a standard equation which is used to calculate the seepage discharge through the foundation of this water retaining structure. So equation is Q is equal to K H and F by ND. I have seen many of working professionals, actually they get confused how to get the value of NF and ND. Although they will be having this flow net, but then they can get confused with flow lines with flow channels. So you can see here, if you have, once you have got the flow net, you have to just get the numbers, number of flow channels and number of equipotential drops. And what is H here? H is the head between the upstream and downstream water level. So you can see here downstream water level is at the ground surface. So you can see this is the difference between the upstream and the downstream water surface. And this is H. A is the coefficient of permeability. As I mentioned, this is one of the most important parameters to control the seepage. And you need to get the value of coefficient of permeability from different techniques. There are in situ techniques that can be used, or you can also perform lab test to get the value of coefficient of permeability. And we can have a separate discussion on this, like what are different tests that are used to get the coefficient of permeability value. So once this is known, only thing is that you need to get the value of NF and ND. So how do you get the value of number of flow channels? You have to count the numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So in this example, number of flow channels are 5, and number of equipotential drop. If you just count, these are the equipotential lines. So you know that when you draw the flow net, you need to get the boundary conditions. So one boundary condition is here, which is the equipotential line, because all on this line the head is same. In the same way, on the downstream side, this is a equipotential line, because on this line the head is same. So these are the two equipotential lines, and one flow line is the boundary of this bottom boundary of this water retaining structure, and another boundary is this impervious stratum. So this impervious line is the line act as another boundary. So there are 4 boundary conditions. Now you can see here, uh, number of flow channels has been calculated as 5 or measured as 5, and number of equipotential drops, if you calculate, so any flow channel you take, whether this or this or this or this, you need to calculate the number of drops here. So between the two consecutive equipotential lines, it's a one drop. So you need to just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So there are 16 equipotential drops. So ND is 16. So any flow channel you take, whether you take this or this, here also you can see this is 1. Let me change the color. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So there are 16 equipotential drops. So any flow channel you take, and then you can easily calculate the number of drops. So once the flow net is known to you, you can easily get the value of seepage discharge through the foundation of the structure. In the same way, you can do the calculation for other cases.